I am back from university on a 3-ish week long winter vacation now. So, first off, here is a little look inside / investigation of a Hipro 250 watt power supply. Now, there's lots of teardowns of these, so this isn't a full teardown. What I am doing here is trying to figure out why this thing made a very loud bang when I applied mains to it in just a routine power-up test, which it obviously wasn't too happy about. I plugged in the mains cord. It was on the correct voltage setting, because this does have manual select. Had it on 120 volt setting, plugged in the mains cord, and bang! Bright blue flash inside. Scared me so much I went flailing backwards away from the bench. So, something in here obviously blew up. And I'm gonna have a look as to what did that. Because as of right now, there isn't any obvious signs of soot or blackening or parts missing, blown in half, etc. So I'm gonna have to zoom in and get a closer look. First, looking at the secondary side, the output side, Hipro capacitors as to be expected with this model, but none of them are bulged or leaking or visibly in distress, so those don't look like a problem. There's also not a lot of dust in here. There's a tiny bit on leading edges of some parts, but this was either cleaned frequently, run in a very clean place, or wasn't run much at all. And I'm thinking it probably wasn't run much. So, not a whole lot of hours of operation. No obvious burns or component lead sticking out of the middle of a blast mark. So, doesn't look like it's on the secondary side, though. I'm pretty sure I remember the explosion flash coming from this corner, so I'll take another look at the mains input wiring in a little bit. Taking a look at the primary side now, filtering, bridge rectifier, main filter caps, that's the, again, T-pose. Can't really see what the rating is because it's on the far side behind the heatsink and such. Again, no obvious burns or damage or distress. So I think should take a look at the mains input over there, which probably will require taking some stuff out. There is a fuse down there, but it's covered in heat shrink tubing, so I'm gonna do a continuity test, see if there actually is an intact fuse or if it's all exploded. That sounds like the fuse is still there, which means that I don't know even. Probably wouldn't be past here unless it was such a small fault that it went before the fuse did. So, and the rest of the input wiring back here, there's no faults that I can see there. I think it's time for me to unscrew the board from the chassis and look underneath to see if a bit of debris got in there and shorted across the mains. Since I can't find anything obviously burnt, blown in half, etc. on or under the board, I'm going to attempt to connect the mains to it again. If it makes it past that without exploding, I'm going to jumper the power on wire to ground to try and get it to start, using this old and pretty well beat up Seagate hard drive and this little fan as dummy loads. Hopefully that'll be enough to keep this happy. Alright, here we go. Connecting mains. Well, it didn't blow up. This supply doesn't seem to have a 5-volt standby on it, which isn't looking good for its health. There is absolutely nothing coming out of the 5-volt rail. 5-volt standby. To confirm that this is dead, I'm going to connect the power on wire to ground on a healthy supply, especially since it has this dummy load. That would tell the supply to turn on. However, there's no standby, which means there's no supply to tell it to turn on, which means this thing is cooked in a surprisingly non-visible way, considering that it made explosion noises and a bright blue flash when I plugged it in the last time. I'll probably be parting this out, because heat sinks, caps, etc., those are useful. But, yeah, too bad this thing's dead. Thanks for watching.